Hi friends, a very good evening. This is Daily Current Affairs by IAS Gateway. Today we are going to discuss important topics, important current affairs from April 13. First one is about the Iran nuclear deal. Right now in Vienna, uh, the P5 countries are discussing about restoring or reviving the Iran nuclear deal. Earlier in 2018, during Donald Trump's administration, USA came out of Iran nuclear deal that led to a lot of problems. So, with the Joe Biden's presidency, USA is trying to get on board with Iran nuclear deal. Let's see. Reviving JCPOA. What is JCPOA? It is Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. So before we get into the today's news or today's editorial, let's see what is Iran nuclear deal. In July 2015, Iran and six nations reached a landmark agreement known as Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action that ended a 12-year deadlock over Tehran's nuclear program. See, earlier, before 2015, uh, Iran was conducting a secret nuclear enrichment program, that is to make nuclear bomb. Iran was a signatory of a non-proliferation treaty. You know what is non-proliferation treaty, right? So the signatories of non-proliferation treaty, they don't enrich uranium for making bomb or other illegal purposes. They are very much restricted to research, education, and obviously power distribution of power making from nuclear power plants. So this kind of clandestine operation uh, led to this cancelling of Iran's nuclear deal. And later in July 2015, Iran and six other nations reached a landmark agreement. This particular agreement is known as Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Okay. The deal struck in Vienna after 2 years of intensive talks, that is in 2015, limited the Iranian program to reassure the rest of the world that it cannot develop nuclear weapons in return for sanctions itself, for sanctions relief. So it limited the enrichment program. So they can use it for the listed purposes of it. Okay, they cannot go and make a nuclear bomb. So obviously, Tehran also accepted the extensive monitoring by IAEA, that is International Atomic Energy Agency. So you all know about IAEA. They regularly monitors the nuclear sites and check if they are going as per the NPT treaty, non-proliferation treaty. Okay. On again, this problem happened in 2018 on May 8, 2018. U.S. President Donald Trump pulled his country out of the deal. So after this, so he pulled, and he thought that it is not going to serve any good purpose for USA. So he came out of the agreement. Obviously, after a point of time, Iran also came out of the agreement. That created a lot of fear among the nations, especially what happens if Iran goes and creates enriches uranium and makes nuclear bomb out of it. That is a fear. Countries want Iran to be peaceful. That leads to the peace in Middle Eastern countries. You know the Middle Eastern countries, right? Iran is one of the important power in Middle Eastern countries. You know the two big powers in Middle Eastern countries. One is Saudi Arabia, and the other one is Iran. They have been fighting for a long time. That is proxy war. They call it as a proxy war. Even they call it as a cold war. All these things were happening. So the world countries wanted peace in the region. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So right now, the Vienna talks between the remaining members of Iran nuclear deal, that is China, Russia, UK, France, Germany, and obviously Iran, have raised hopes for the revival of the agreement. So these particular Vienna talks is for reviving the Iran nuclear agreement. See, here, US wants Iran to end its uranium enrichment. Again, since Iran came out of the deal after 2018, after USA's exit, they started enriching uranium. That was news all over the world that Iran is doing the enrichment process. So, US want to end its uranium enrichment and centrifuge development programs and return to the 2015 agreement. They want Iran to roll back to the previous 2015 agreement status. While Tehran has demanded the US lift all sanctions imposed by Mr. Trump. See, after the exit from nuclear deal, USA has made a lot of sanctions on Iran, particularly even India can't trade with Iran. India was a very active trading partner with Iran. So that particular sanctions troubled Iran and it made its economy weak. Okay. The agenda at Vienna, therefore, is to produce a roadmap for a revival of JCPOA, obviously, by addressing these two critical issues, that is, Iran nuclear enrichment enhanced program and American sanctions. Okay, so the 2 points here is one is a revival of Iran nuclear program, another is the sanctions posed by America. Okay, here Joe Biden's administration has displayed flexibility in its approach towards Iran. See, since his presidentship, I think probably some 60 to 80 days he has been the president of US. There are a lot of changes happening in White House. The president appointed a special envoy, ended the US support for Saudi Arabia's war against the Houthis. Houthis were Houthis, Iran backed militants. See, USA is a very strong, Saudi Arabia is a very strong ally of USA. They do a lot of weapon trade with America. Saudi Arabia is one of the biggest purchaser of arms and ammunition from America. After Joe Biden's presidency, after Joe Biden comes to presidency, he stopped the support to Saudi Arabia. That is a very promising view for Iran. So he is giving this option that he is giving this option. Also, Britain promised to lift sanctions if Iran returns to JCPOA terms. Okay. The next point is the challenge both sides are facing is a lack of time. Obviously, here Iran, they're going to elect a new president. Presidents and pools are coming, so we don't know what happens if a new president comes. So there might be a lot of changes. So the world countries wants a deal before this election. Also, we should discuss about the external dangers. Iran-backed militants. So even in Syria, Iran-backed Shia militants in Iraq continue to target U.S. forces and bases in Iraq. You know about the war torn Iraq, where Shia militants, Iran-backed Shia militants are attacking the U.S. forces. So this particular situation in Iraq, it might not go well with the U.S. So the Israel-Iran shadow conflict is now being fought inside Syria and on the seas. So friends, there are dangers, external dangers as well. So even if Israel and Iran has a conflict, even in the recent news, you might have read that Israel carried out a secret cyber attack in Iran's nuclear stations. So the situation is not good in Middle East. So what they have to do, if security tensions rise in the region involving Iran and its proxies, it could derail the diplomatic efforts. Yes, there were a lot of peace efforts going between Iran and the world countries. The US and Iran should exercise restraint, stay focused on the talks, and rebuild the lost trust and take measures to get the deal back on track that would resolve the nuclear crisis in return for dismantling the sanctions regime. What they're trying to say is The trust is important. They have to rebuild the lost trust and take measures to get back to the deal. That obviously is going to resolve the nuclear crisis in the region. See, it's not good. It's not good to let a country to create nuclear bomb. So, with the NPT, Non-Proliferation Treaty in place, and IAEA, they are going to monitor all the nuclear power plants of Iran. That is going to give a peace in Middle Eastern region. So this is very important. They have to come back to it. Next, let's go to the next topic. India's South Asian opportunity. This is a very interesting topic. We all know about South Asia and India. India's relations with South Asia. India is a very active trade partner with South Asia. So, in this topic, we are going to discuss why India should maintain peace with Pakistan on the Kashmir issue and focus on its trade growth with Southeast Asian countries and overall growth of Southeast Asian countries. We're obviously going to give prosperity to the region. Okay, let's go to the next slide. The statement made by Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan in Colombo that our only dispute is Kashmir and it can only be resolved through dialogue. Okay, so what he's saying, this shows that there is a growing but unstated realization that neither country can wrest parts of Kashmir that each controls from the other. Rather, it is best to focus on resolving issues that blight the entire subcontinent, like poverty, malnutrition, and unconscionable neglect of the earth. See, here message is dispute between India and Pakistan on the Kashmir issue can be obviously it's going to be it can be resolved only through dialogue. And the most important thing is the region, the Southeast Asian region should focus on the issues that is harming the region, that like poverty, malnutrition, and the neglect of the end. That is the point that the Prime Minister is saying. It is a realization that the India-Pakistan enormity, that is enmity versus regionalism and South Asian growth. That is absolutely true. So we have a very huge trade potentials as a Southeast Asian nations. We are basically an agriculture-based economy and medium, small size manufacturing economy. So we have a very huge trade potential to trade with the foreign countries. As a whole, we have to work together. That is what we're trying to say here. Yes, economic integration. A fair peace between India and Pakistan is not just good for the two states, but for all the nations constituting the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. Here we are seeing about the SAARC. Yes, obviously discussing about SAARC. Now, when was the last meeting happened for SAARC? They have scheduled a meeting in 2016, but it was cancelled. It was scheduled to happen in Pakistan, but it was cancelled. So in 2014, that was the last meeting. So it's been 7 years, 6 to 7 years that SAARC didn't meet. SAARC is one of the one of the important trading regional cooperation in the southeastern region. So, see, reports such as the World Bank publication titled as a glass half full, and others from the Asian Development Bank and European Union conclude that there is an explosive value to be derived from South Asian economic integration. Economic integration of South Asia is going to give a very explosive value or very huge, but there is a huge potential in the Southeast Asian region. While SAARC has facilitated limited collaborations among its members, it has remained a victim of India-Pakistan posture. Yes, true. Since it was happening since the last week was happening in Pakistan, India was not willing to join. So obviously it affected other countries. That is what they're trying to say. So the two countries have agreed to maintain ceasefire. Yes, It is a time for India to seize the moment and become more South Asia concerned and much less Pakistan obsessed. So what they're trying to say is, so India should focus its the energy or focus on South Asian countries rather than worrying about Pakistan and other issues. An economically transformed and integrated South Asian region could advantageously link up with China's Belt and Road Initiative and even join the RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the world's largest trading bloc, accounting for 30% of its GDP. See, that is what this economic integration in South Asian region. You have China's Belt and Road Initiative, that is one very strategic program of China, um, strategic connectivity program that has connectivity with all of the Southeast Asian countries by road as well as sea routes. That is going to help the trade and even RCEP. You all must hear about RCEP. It's a very big trading bloc, 15 countries. So this economic integration is going to boost. You have all this connectivity with the RCEP and China's Belt and Road Initiative. It is going to help. It is going to help the whole Southeast Asian region. Given its size and heft, only India can take the lead in transforming a grossly underperforming region like South Asia. Yes, obviously, India is a big country in the region. India has a very good, soft power in the region. India has a very, has a strong and India has a very good political authority in the region. So India has to take a lead to integrate the Southeast Asian region. Collectively, with a population of slightly over 1.9 billion, South Asia has a GDP of 12 trillion. Yes, it's a very big value. Contrast this with the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, numbering nearly 700 million. Asia has a GDP of around 9 trillion and per capita income, which is and a per capita income which is at dollar 14,000 is closing in on China, with member states like Vietnam starting to grow spectacularly. That is what we have a huge potential here. So ASEAN is a very important good thing in Southeast Asia. They have a very they are trading. They have a very good growth. So integration, Southeast Asia integration is led by India is going to bring a huge change, a huge prosperity to the region. India's movement. This is the moment for India to think big and act big by ambitiously aiming to engineer a South Asian economic miracle. Okay, but for that to happen, India needs to view a peace with Pakistan not as a bilateral matter to be arrived at leisure, if at all, but as essential and urgent, all the while viewing it as a chance of a lifetime to dramatically transform South Asia for the better, no less. So here the point is India should focus on the integration of South Asia for the growth and prosperity of South Asia rather than thinking about the issues with Pakistan. They have to maintain peace. Obviously, peace is going to help focus India on the trade in the South Asian region. That is what they're trying to say in this article. Okay, let's see the connected topics with this article. SARC is a very important organization. Uh, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation is a regional intergovernmental organization and geopolitical union of states in South Asia. Uh, India is a very important member in SARC. The member countries are Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Um, you have to know the exact countries in this organization. The SARC comprises 3% of the world's area and 21% of the world's population and 4.21% of the global economy as of 2019. So as of in as a India as a India India in India, SARC is a very important organization. For India, SARC is a very important organization as well as for Southeast Asia. let's see the next organization, that is ASEAN. ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, is an economic union comprising 10 member states in the Southeast Asia, which promotes intergovernmental cooperation and facilitates economic, political, security, military, educational, and social-cultural integration among its members and other countries in Asia. So there are 10 members. See, Asian members are asked in UPSC examination, UPSC examination. So obviously, memorizing them is going to help you. So the countries are Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam. Asia is a very important grouping in Southeast Asia. India, most importantly, India is not part of Asia. India comes in Greater Asia, that is Asian plus 5. That is, there are two groupings in Asia, Asian plus 3 and Asian plus 5. India comes into that. So Asia is one of the important trading organizations, important Southeast Asian organization. Next, RCEP. RCEP is a very important topic. The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. It's a free trade agreement. FTA. Basically, it's a FTA between Asia Pacific nations. See, I have highlighted few countries. Asia Pacific nations of Australia, China, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, plus Asia. So ASEAN 10 countries plus 5 countries of uh, Asia Pacific. That is, as I said, Australia, China, Japan, New Zealand, and South Asia. So 10 plus 5 countries. It's a very big trading bloc. The next point, the 15 member countries support for about 30% of the world's population and 30% of global GDP as of 2020, making it the biggest trade bloc in history. Yes, it is the biggest trade bloc. They have a huge potential. Even during the coronavirus pandemic and lockdown, they have done well in trade. India was negotiating in RCEP, but India came out of RCEP because of certain restrictions, because of certain trade complications. China, most probably China will be leading this agreement, this particular block. India is not happy with the deals, so India came out of RCEP. But still, RCEP is one of the biggest trading bloc in Southeast Asian region. Okay, so guys, friends, this is all for today. In the next class, we'll see other important topics.